All right. Well, how's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining our first Telegram community voice call. Um, it's great having everybody here to talk further. I was going to start with update about the company and projects for anybody around who uh, had interest and is listening. So um, yeah, I'm just going to dive into it since we have enough people here so far. Um, yeah, just you know, myself and Geometric Energy are grateful for all of the interested stakeholders in our projects, and it's been quite a journey for those of us who have been here since XI as the original utility token with respect to um, the satellite space display utility claims such that space swap routes into acquiring XI. So that is still the case. I wanted to reassure on that front, as well as the ongoing staking program with respect to XI to continue further. So those matters, as well as the utility for space swap as providing the booking claims for what's to be displayed on the Earth orbit satellite and the lunar orbit satellite, namely DOGE-1, which I'll talk about more in a bit. But currently, you can use USDC to swap into what has been referred to as the space tokens. So that's beta, rho, gamma, kappa, uh, and XI, which was for time. The other ones are for positions and brightness and color. So those still exist in the backend contract, and though not marketed, are still there. And when space swap would be used, it will be routing into those ongoing as it has. There was the announcement of that both last year it was mentioned that Pepe and also the GEC coin or GEC would be payment denominations as well when we upgrade Space Swap to the Space Swap V2, which will happen. So that is going to be something that upgrades xiprotocol.io's interface for the claim screen to include that you can pay with GEC for that. So that will be a new addition on top of USDC and Pepe and some other meme coins probably, or coins that we could have as related to our ecosystem to be used for more payment denominations there. So that's just some clarity on kind of the chronology of existing projects. Um, so further than that, there's beyond just the kind of payment denomination, further updates and UI and design elements that will be kind of making the staking interfaces looking better, and just general updates on the websites. So there's further work to be done there that will be going live as it is ready. I'm really hoping that it'll be this month for some of these further site updates and so on that have been coming. So yeah, beyond that, the project GEC or GEC as a coin launched now 2 months ago and had kind of an initial run up and cooling off period, it seems, of the hype and interest and activity in relation to it. But regarding whatever, wherever it was at, the kind of explanation and fundamentals and future of the project, as well as existing things, still continues. So there's not something where I have like, given up or moved on from something and I'm proceeding with a new thing. There's just ecosystem growth of more projects and elements to it based on a collaboration of non-overlapping teams, to which there are some team members which are a part of one or more projects, such as for example, front end team having had made websites or been involved with multiple projects, or certain devs doing certain projects. So there's different team and devs for the situation that has made like XI protocol exist, and then GEC coin exist, and then further there's some recent staking rewards improvement kind of upgrades with the ZPE coin, or zero point energy, which was another example of that. And so that will be a coin that is able to be provided as a staking rewards booster coin, essentially in a similar light to how Curve and Convex Finance can interact with staking Curve LP tokens on Convex Finance, and then you would get the Curve and CVX tokens. In a way, that project is about upgrading single-sided staking pools to include that additional rewards token as kind of an ecosystem growth measure on that project's behalf. And then GEC was like the guinea pig of that for kind of our staking pool, where you get GEC for staking GEC, and then upgrading that to the Ultra pool, which was this mention of adding this additional staking rewards token. So it can be kind of like for taking projects that just have single-sided staking and upgrading them to having an additional rewards token, and then that ecosystem growth possible through doing that for a whole bunch of different projects would bring a lot of activity and interest to that project. So we went for and agreed for that as a bolstering of our staking program with GEC, to have it so that there's beyond the one token another one for being able to provide rewards as well. And there's also the ability with that to add even more assets as rewards for different staking programs. So it'll just be interesting to see what partnerships and collaborations we have with other teams that either already have an existing coin, or there's a launch of a new one, and being able to see if that can get integrated into staking, so that there's more and more different rewards possible beyond just the native token. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there with that. But yeah, so I think a lot of people are probably interested in the space missions, obviously. So I'll talk a bit about the Earth orbit stuff, and then I'll mention the moon mission. So with respect to the Earth orbit mission series, there was GEOmetric-1, which launched in 13 months ago now. So it was January 2023 when the first mission successfully happened. So that was a SpaceX Falcon 9 launch, where we launched a satellite payload for the US government. So Geometric Energy bought a whole ESPA port from SpaceX. So that's like an expendable secondary payload attachment. And so it's up to 200 kilograms that you can launch in this port, and you can connect an adapter plate to it, which allows you to separate how much payload mass you have there, and kind of have different spots that you can put different CubeSats into. So like we were able to have a 12 times 6U adapter plate, where so there's six 6U CubeSats on the one side and six 6U CubeSats on the other side of the adapter plate that's hooked into this port. So what we had to do is pay SpaceX for acquiring the whole port, and then we split it up with our collaborations with Maverick Space, who's our integration services provider, as well as Exobotics and XISP Inc. So those were the satellite OEM and mission management providers. So Geometric Energy worked with all those people to make that whole mission happen and launch successfully, which it did. And now Geometric 2 is the second Earth orbit mission, where we at the moment, and we could expand it to include more CubeSats, but we have the Earth orbit display screen satellite where there's a screen inside of the CubeSat and a camera capturing the screen, and then users can claim what images are going to be displayed on the screen, and they sort of pay for your time in space to display something. So it's generally construed as like space ads or space art, and some of them are more kind of like commercially or financially focused, and other ones are just like some message or sentimental thing, or like displaying an artwork. A lot of who's been on there so far, in terms of the space displays screen, have been a lot of NFT art sort of stuff, because that was back in 2021 where a lot of my past collaboration was, and sort of there was a lot of artists that ended up on the screen due to kind of conversations and engaging with them, like Xcopy and Grant Yun, and some of these other sort of notable pieces like a Fidenza, or the um, Nakamoto card, which like VVD picked, and there's also some of these other CryptoPunks on the bottom of the screen from like Kazomo de Medici's CryptoPunk and Drifter Shoots CryptoPunk. And then there was some Where My Vans Goes NFT photography, and then some different projects claim some different things. So we had like Pleaser DAO put the Doge NFT on the screen. So actually, for when the DOGE-1 satellite is in lunar orbit for the first entire month, there's a big picture of the Doge in the middle of the screen the whole time. And other stuff will be changing around it for the different claim periods. So some of them have like are just for a very short period of time, or like last for a week, or last for the whole month, like the Doge NFT. And then in the second month, there was like a big sear light piece in the top left corner for I think this entire month, or like 2 weeks or something really, really long. But other than that, mainly like the second month is kind of open and available for bookings. But yeah, we're trying to get the like GEC payment denomination and other meme coins ideally to be able to like market the space swap V2 more. And any of the claims that have come in and happened and been approved so far, there's like a moderation team that reviews it, so we don't get like stuff on the screen that is against the rules, which are some pretty reasonable terms, to just like have reasonable content that's not going to be having a legal problem or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty exciting on that advancing. And so yeah, the Geometric 2 mission has that satellite on it, and then it also has the no-clip satellite on it, which is a space VR experience essentially. So there's a camera that's a visible light camera that has a really, really wide angle lens. So it's if you're experiencing the stream through a VR headset, it is like that you are an astronaut sort of. So it's to give you the overview effect, which is this experience that all astronauts report when they go to outer space, that essentially they have like these epiphanies or philosophical realizations about life and about humanity and civilization, that things should be at peace, and that there should be collaborative progress for things going well and having space exploration happen and so on. But yeah, so the goal of that project in part is to decentralize access to the overview effect. So because there's very few people who will get to experience going to space, and there's essentially the ability to have a VR experience where you're an astronaut, and it is from this satellite that is providing this VR stream. And then there's also AR data filter overlays that you can kind of access that are in relation to different projects, and also potentially sort of multi-user gaming experiences, perhaps, other things related to these kind of AR data filters that would be overlaid over the Earth orbit stream. So you'd be like having a VR experience where it's like you're an astronaut, and then if that's not of interest enough, there's these further kind of AR levels or like augmented reality uh, filters that you can kind of apply or use depending upon the NoClip project. So uh, yeah, that's noclip.org if anybody's interested in that. That's Point Blank LLC. Uh, they're the owner and operator of the NoClip project. Technically, they're a customer of GEC's, so they paid us to launch their satellite, and then we've been providing mission management and integration services uh, through Maverick Space and XISP to have the eventual SpaceX launch happen there. So the Geometric 2 mission is like GEC owning and operating a satellite that we're launching for our purpose, which is the Earth orbit display screen. And then we're also launching as part of that the NoClip satellite, which is Point Blank LLC owned and operated project. So that's their satellite. And yeah, then there's the lunar orbit mission as well, where that's the DOGE-1 to the moon launch. And as mentioned prior, this has been on an open manifest basis. There was a tweet about that. And what that means is essentially depending upon the moon mission objectives and timelines and the DOGE-1 mission mission objectives and timelines, that there is an alignment between which mission that it is launched on, and due to us having this kind of upgraded arrangement where we have an additional rebooking fee paid option, can have that be the case. So um, the initial deal, did not include that. So where we have come to at this point is that the IM-1 mission is going to launch unless there's some type of surprise substantial delay for more months, without the DOGE-1 satellite on that moon mission. So it is targeting the IM-2 mission at this point, it looks like, or another non-Intuitive Machines moon mission, which would happen sooner. So that's the situation with the DOGE-1 moon mission and satellite. It still needs to have a radio equipment piece changed to be able to be compatible properly with the Goonhilly Earth Satellite Station, which is who will be receiving the lunar communications. And so that work is still being done in the UK and has not finished. We would need to have had shipped the satellite, and at this point that hasn't happened yet. So it's been like called that it's not making it on IM-1. There is some potential possibility that IM-1 is delayed immensely so further months, that we rebook actually onto the same mission, but it's looking like it would be IM-2 or another moon mission that is prior to IM-2 if that happens. There are other moon missions that are not the Intuitive Machines moon mission series that SpaceX is doing, and I'm not privy to talk about that or the timelines or who was involved, but there is essentially those two options at this point: the IM-2 mission or the non-IM moon mission options. So that is that's just simply the case with respect to these mission timings with respect to the DOGE-1 satellite. But that doesn't mean that the DOGE-1's not launching or that it's not happening. The DOGE-1 moon mission still continues and is going to launch. It's just the rideshare mission that it is on is going to be delayed to the next one that happens is looking like where it's at, which probably is IM-2 unless this non-IM mission. And by IM, I mean Intuitive Machines, which is this lunar lander company that has booked a multiple mission series launch of their lunar lander on, the IM-1, IM-2, IM-3 mission series. So DOGE-1 was trying to make it on IM-1 and almost did. We had the FCC approved in time even, but the equipment for the radio and the finished satellite to ship is not completed, so that's not going to be making it on IM-1, which would be coming up as launching here in like 10 days or 2 weeks or whatever it is. It might even get delayed to March, but that still is like not going to make it in terms of being able to get on that in time. So there's been, at this point, a sort of final decision that that's not happening at all, and we're targeting IM-2 again, or a non-intuitive machines mission that may be sooner. So the thing to watch for now to see when DOGE-1 is going to actually happen is when IM-2 happens, or if SpaceX announces, or I'm allowed to announce, this other moon mission that is not the IM mission series, which if IM-2 is delayed a lot, would be the one that would go on instead. So the matter is between SpaceX and GEC directly in terms of the mission, and it's SpaceX providing the launch service and mission. I would be at this, like, it's Intuitive Machines is also a customer directly to SpaceX, and then I'm also a customer directly to SpaceX. So it's not like I had, paid Intuitive Machines or I'm Intuitive Machines customer to have it go on their mission. It's just originally booked with SpaceX to go to the moon, and then they provide an option of how it could go there. And that initial one was, okay, well, Intuitive Machines has booked this, so you could be on M1. And we're like, great, let's go for that. Let's target that. And, we went for it and almost made it there. But there's some of these last matters to figure out, namely the Goonhilly Earth Satellite Station, which is the UK ground station for the lunar satellite communications, needs to have essentially a revised part that is swapped out on the DOGE-1 satellite such that it will be both making sense with the FCC license and the ground communication station in the UK. And so that is what was referred to as the plumbing earlier as resolved, and that will be what's sort of required to complete to have the satellite ship out from the UK to the US, to the Maverick Space facility. And then once it has some further post-testing and so on done in the US and being ready to integrate it into the launch, that would be kind of where it's at. So right now, it's in the UK that this stuff is needing resolved between Exobotics and the Goonhilly Earth Satellite Station, and will be resolved, and then the satellite shipped to the US. And when that happens, that'll be either in time for IM-2 or this other moon mission that is not the IM mission series, whichever one is sooner. So at this point, it's still on an open manifest basis where it would go to whatever one is soonest that makes sense. But eventually there will be an announcement of which one it is manifested on, which would be a sign that the so-called plumbing is complete in terms of the lunar communication matters with respect to the DOGE-1 satellite and the ground communication station. So yeah, that's the situation with the DOGE-1 mission. So that's both the Geometric 2 mission and the DOGE-1 mission are continuing as the Earth orbit mission and lunar orbit mission next that are to launch, with the goal of continuing further mission series. So I'll not announce anything there until there's been further achievements and milestones made successfully with respect to the current mission series. But the goal is to have it was called Geometric 1 and then Geometric 2, so like what's coming next, right? there's also the ability to expand the mission series with respect to there's the Earth orbit ones and then lunar orbit ones, and then what comes next after that. So in terms of our like business model of expanding in the space business and having us continue to do these rideshare launches, there's the goal of that this furthers into more mission possibilities. So I'll just leave it at that for the mentions there. But everything is proceeding along, and the products that have been created and launched are to be fully furthered and made into things that are good for the community and have engagement and participation, and also some of interest backing to what's happening here in terms of the narrative. So there's the utility token that existed for the space displays claim originally, XI, and that continues. That's not scrapped or something. And then the creation of the GEC coin as the meme coin and DeSci project as well. There's to be the first proposal posted for the solicitation of kind of submissions for some of the first real DeSci projects, where there would actually be funding to achieve some goal that would be committed and entranched milestones to have happen, which would be some either academia or industry related party that would be some entity involved in carrying out like the first DeSci project. So there would be essentially like an RFP bid submission for that posted soon here within the next like maybe week or two, perhaps even a few days. And in terms of that that timeline as well, the land bridge should be up soon further, so that we have the launch of GEC on Sol. And we generally intend to see, as possible and appropriate further, the ability to have kind of a multi-chain expansion, depending upon strategically what is kind of like a good idea in the market. So, I mean, if AVAX is like going really, really hot, maybe we would do like AVAX bridge GEC there, but there was already maybe not. Like we would probably just do the Sol launch for now, and then have it on ETH and Sol, and then the two would be kind of like have an ability for some sort of arbitrage, or depending upon how people trade that or what bots get set up or whatever, there would either be the price trailing more closely or not. And we'll just like see what happens there with that. But yeah, that's some of the main updates about the project, what's going on with everything. So I just wanted to say all that to provide a main update to everybody here about that, and just that we're working further on ensuring that that this all happens, so that we can continue with everything and have all involved stakeholders happy with the scenario and what we're doing with this all and progressing with. So we have had some team revisions as well and additions. So yeah, I mean, Alex, are you here by any chance? Because maybe this could be a good time to have you speak a bit about how you're helping come on to the project further and act in the CM role, as well as helping with some of the marketing improvements, because we haven't had the most successful marketing and awareness around the project as of late. Like there was a really big initial push and all these KOLs and marketing and stuff, and like the huge initial launch wave. But now at this point, it's like, okay, that's happened and settled, and the circus came and went, and now how are we making this like a long-term sustainable project, longevity, and seen towards a more professional light. So yeah, maybe if I can pass it over to you.
Yeah, hey guys. So appreciate it, Sam, and definitely was a in-depth, detailed overview of kind of the updates, which I know people, were definitely in need of and requesting. So, yeah, I mean, my brief background is just, been in the crypto space since 2014, digital marketing for over 10 years, and was kind of brought on by Sam to help with, take some of the load off his back as far as just business ops, some marketing. And as he stated, we did a big push initially, with a lot of KOLs. Things went up to a $35 million market cap. But of course, project can't be continually hyped. So, um, there, of course, are like all of these developments in the back end. And I think that, this call hopefully will just kind of clear the slate as far as a lot of sentiment in the chat recently has been, just kind of like not enough communication or, what's going on. And we're definitely working hard in the back end to make things a little bit more systemized and, be able to communicate clearly on a weekly basis, kind of the updates. This is a big project, a long-term project. The goals are pretty lofty here. So a lot of back end work and, a lot of time and energy has been put into this project as a whole. Sam's basically put a lot of his research, like and generally just his life work into this project. So we'd like to just have a generally like a better sentiment in the chat for the project and make sure that everybody knows. I mean, obviously the cryptocurrency space has a lot of LARPs and scams and all these things, and so people are pretty cautious and pessimistic sometimes. But I think if we're just communicating exactly what's going on, is that as you can see, Sam's working hard in the back end for that. So yeah, we just want to just generally get the communications better, make sure everybody's updated. But as you all know, this is a long-term project that has some pretty lofty goals. So that's basically the general thing. And then as far as there being some questions, I think there's a lot of great questions that were brought up in the Telegram chat that we can address. So no, I don't think Sam's Elon Musk. Let's see. And then we can just kind of go through these questions. I think some of them were addressed. But one of them was from Bruce Lee. What is Zero Point Energy Project about? We can kind of just go through some of these questions, I think, Sam, and maybe you could just briefly summarize or touch on them.
Yeah, so with respect to that, the Zero Point Energy or ZPE project is a separate project which released and has a ultra pool service. So what it provides to different DeFi projects that have single-sided staking is that they can upgrade their pool to an ultra pool and then get beyond their own rewards, the ZPE rewards. So that is something that happened with GEC as a demonstration initial project. They will be having further. So, I mean, that's the situation. We essentially got an extra rewards token for GEC stakers. And, I don't think that's to the detriment of GEC stakers in any way that they get this additional token. So that provides some exposure and awareness of people to the ZPE project. And then, that project gets those tokens. So, there might be a possibility of other projects having that service happen to it. It depends on what tokens they end up doing that with. And so, I mean, that's really what I have to say about that one.
Cool, yeah. And then
when are you launching one more token? The 10th.
Let's just if we can go in order. If you want to type your question into the Telegram, we can address it. But I just want to give everyone a fair chance to get their questions answered. So the next question, I think, generally was just about GEC and the sodium battery, the lithium ion alternative. And I guess they're wondering kind of, I guess, how that integrates into the project or the token.
Well, that's not really related to the token, but it is something that the company has done in the past in terms of developing the intellectual property of the sodium ion battery, the solid state sodium ion battery. There's a bunch of publications. If you look up Samuel Reid sodium ion battery into Google, you'll see a bunch of chemistry papers over the years that has been the project sort of developed over a long time. It's been many years that has been underway. So there was a collaboration with Geometric Energy Corporation and the University of Calgary to have that technology created. There were different postdoctoral fellowship positions funded by these grants that Geometric Energy cost shared with MyTax, as well as NSERC. That's like the National Science and Engineering Research Council of Canada. We had like a big multi-year situation with NSERC after these MyTax postdoctoral fellows. So there was a bunch of grad students and PDFs that we got in, as well as with our company on developing that. So we kind of did like an industry academia partnership over many years to create that, but that was all prior to the token and not necessarily related to the token, other than of interest, branding, awareness type situation of that occurred as a past success of GEC. So yeah, I mean,
okay, awesome, thank you.
Business.
And then there's some questions about just the long-term goals of GEC in the next 5 or 10 years. Someone else asked about the tax. I mean, I can address as far as the tax goes. The project did push up to a 30 million plus market cap, and that had a lot to do with just paid marketing, KOLs, and there does need to be some fuel to launch any marketing campaigns. And so I think just generally it was a decision that for the longevity of the project and to keep it the project really hyped and the marketing to continue, we needed some funds. So and then a lot of people are just wondering about the delay of DOGE-1, but I think that was addressed. And then and for as far as price recovery for GEC, I think that does definitely have to do with the tax, and of course, and then someone asked about the satellite phones. You could pay with XI to use them. Do you want to touch on that at all?
Yeah, I can speak to some of this here. So with respect to the mention of the SAT phones, that's still something that is possible, as well as payment with XI to use them. It's not related to Elon's cell services. That would be a project that would be using communications and networks that would not be Starlink or SpaceX related. That would be a separate situation. So that's not canceled or anything, but there are further requirements and milestones that are seeking achieved prior to focusing on that. So it's not a main focus of things, but still exists as sort of to be finished development and to be launched aspects of the roadmap of what we've been doing. So that was to answer Tony 707's question there. And then some of the people mentioning the ZPE not having interest or not having value, well, it's just that project would be upgrading different pools to ultra pools and be getting, you know, thousands of holders from all of those staking programs becoming aware of the token, and then further tokenomics and deals and whatever they do as a project with those other projects, bringing on into, you know, them further creating all these other ultra pools for other systems. I mean, you know, that'll have to just, that project will need to speak for itself about that making sense or being a good idea or doing that. I think that it is an interesting growth hack strategy to get in on so many different projects, and I mean it's something that can make a lot of different communities aware. So it will maybe have further announcements as well about something else, but you know, I will have to just see about the official channels of that project and what they say about it. I'm not the person behind the Twitter or the Telegram or anything on that, but obviously there's a collaboration and relation, and I know the dev and so on. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about that. In terms of what's happening with OPOE, I'm also in touch with the dev there, which is still needing something further than what exists. There's a Telegram bot that you can do bridging with, and intention for other options beyond what's existing there. But you know, I'll need the project there to make an announcement about that further. I don't believe that is dead or something, and you know, I believe in it and trust the dev there enough that that's still my Twitter profile. So I mean, I you know, I think that that's still of interest and something that is you know, a project that will continue despite some development delays or, you know, lack of communications or updates there. Yeah, so I mean, we'll see what happens with that. And the GEC bridge is launching with Portal Bridge for using Wormhole. So that's going to be what is used there, and then creating a pool. So on Solana, so that won't be reliant on the OPOE bridge, but there is possibility for usage of the OPOE bridge to easily get Sol from ETH using the Telegram bot. So what we could suggest is, you know, if you were going to go try to trade GEC bridged Solana, or, you know, Solana bridged GEC rather, you know, and you need some Sol, you have some ETH, you're not used to Sol, like, you know, as part of a onboarding to Sol guide, part of the steps could be that you know, use the OPOE bot to get your Sol quickly by sending the ETH to it. So that is something perhaps positive there on that front. But yeah, so the Sol bridge is coming. Yeah, and I don't know about the CM or TG situation over there. I'll try to tell them to do a better job there. But yeah, the Sol bridge, in short, pretty much is coming here within the next few days. It's should probably be February 8th or 9th that it actually happens. I thought it'd be a bit sooner, but I guess things take more time than intended. So yeah, again, that would be a wormhole portal bridge sort of usage for the implementation and launch of the GEC on Solana. So that would be the same token. Still, it's just bridging some of the supply over there, and then there will be a price that is a Sol pair, and that should show up on CoinGecko. And as per pairs of coins on different chains or different, you know, situations, there, it would just reflect in the price, and there would be like some sort of, you know, arb possible, but it would really just kind of exist there. And then that hopefully brings in some Sol community and Sol exposure in terms of volume and trading there. And in terms of some further comments also OmniLure-1 has not properly got connected with or in contact with, so it's still up there in orbit. There's some type of lack of ability to either find it or maybe communicate with it. So it's not, that's still an ongoing matter to resolve with respect to the OmniLure-1 situation. So that's a satellite that has our ability to access the data and computing on board and access the utility of the OmniLure-1 satellite, which was outlined in an article a while ago, but you know, that's something that's of interest for future updates. Although, you know, if we don't make contact with it, it's kind of, yeah, we'll need to wait for OmniLure-2, I guess, if it happens, or just not have that be part of things because it didn't work and was lost in space. So, I mean, I truly was not expecting that because, you know, this company and the guy doing that project is like highly legit. Like he was from had done this project with Villanova University where they launched the first Ethereum node in space, and that already happened and was a success. And then this project was like him branching out of academia, making a company, which was Internet Think Tank, and then did the satellite project and made it so far that he, you know, made the whole satellite, got it all through all of these approvals and launch and integration stuff. I actually introduced him to Maverick Space, and that was how he launched his satellite as well. So he's been kind of like in our ecosystem of satellites in collaboration with Maverick Space, similar to how the GenMat satellite launched and happened already, and we're working out how to integrate and interact with them there. I should have some exciting announcements on that front perhaps, but we'll see what we can get in terms of alignment there for publicly being able to have a relation on that. But yeah, and then regarding some choice of TG bot or not, I mean, I don't know. That's what the project is so far on that front. I mean, this isn't about that.
I'm
So,
sorry. I have a simple question. We submitted and paid for space ads in November, and they have been supposedly under review ever since. Just wanted to ask, like, how long is usually the moderation process, or you just don't care about your clients, ignoring them, or for that long? Since it's been November, so that's a long time.
yeah, we were
Then
still deciding what to do because of the DOGE-1 token there that is not our project being not necessarily the most friendly and collaborative situation with us there in terms of, you know, using all of the branding and recognition and naming and everything that we invented and did and stuff to then create something separate off of which we were trying to fuel into the people who helped you know, make it happen in the first place, like XI and so on. But you know, rather than that, but you know, so we were still considering, do we really put these people on the screen? You know, should we really do that? And the moderators and myself still didn't really decide about that. So, I mean, you know, we can take that offline further and DM and discuss.
Okay, it makes sense. Thank you. I mean, if anything, we're a zero tax token. There's no team tokens, so you know, we can collaborate or something and just make things happen. So
Okay, but yeah, well, we'll figure that out. But you know,
sure
if
thing.
it is declined, we would send you tokens back. But it was still up in the air matter as to how we were going to treat that, as well as the general policy for other like fan tokens or derivative tokens or other things like that that happen, because it's just potentially murky waters to then have endorsement of such a situation from our end. So yeah, thanks for understanding on the delay there on dealing with that, but it is kind of unresolved situation, but we'll figure that out though. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it looks like that's most of the questions addressed
Question.
in the chat.
I have one question. Hey, so I missed the DOGE-1 update. Is it gonna be delayed to like this later this year?
In short, yes, it would be delayed to later this year on the IM-2 mission or another non-intuitive machines moon mission that SpaceX would launch sooner than IM-2 if that happens. So it's either going to be on IM-2 later in the year, which at this point they were targeting, I believe, 6 to 9 months out. So it's either that or this non-intuitive machines mission, which would happen sooner than that. Targeting for at the moment, so it is not going to be on this intuitive machines 1 launch that would be, targeting February 14th at the moment, although I think it will get delayed a bit more, but not delayed enough that we.
Okay, is it around third quarter of this year or fourth quarter? You think?
Like at this point, I believe it would be like net Q3, so no earlier than was the wording, because technically if it was 6 months from February, that would just be in August, which is Q3. So we'll have to see about that. I mean, this 6 to 9 months quote is also like the Intuitive Machines company doesn't have the FCC or other licenses for IM2 yet, but I'm sure with IM1 launching, especially if successfully, we'll have them be able to rapidly get those approvals such that it happens this year still. But yeah, we're targeting for later this year on IM2 or a non-IM mission that would happen sooner.
Okay, thank you.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think any further questions or if there's repeat questions can be addressed by the mods in the chat. I think Sam covered most of the topics here, so yeah, guys, thank you. Appreciate all the community input, and we'll definitely be active in the chat in the next couple hours if you guys have any additional questions.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. If anybody has further comments, let's just direct it at the chat, and we'll hold another one of these later in the month. I don't think we should make some expectation it's happening every week at a specific time or something, but we're going to hold more of these like TG community calls and also Twitter spaces to help just have better communication and updates and alignment between like myself and the team and the community, and like Alex here is going to be helping on triangulating that. And so yeah, we'll arrange for another one, and then I'm also to be speaking on some type of podcast series at some point this month, so that'll be an of note kind of media item to come out. And then yeah, we're just continuing on ensuring that the company and projects are all successfully happening, and ultimately, despite some FUD, that we make it through on delivering all promises and mentions. And there's been quite some difficulty along the way with this happening, because it is like actually very hard to run multiple space missions as a company that's hiring a bunch of other companies, and managing all of that is non-trivial. So it does take some time to get through all these things successfully. But in terms of some hope to hold on, I mean, we had successfully launched for the US government the Geometric 1 mission, and now on the heels of that, we've got the Geometric 2 mission coming on the next possible transporter series, and then the DOGE-1 mission coming on the next IM mission series possible, it looks like. So it's been pretty pretty long journey to get here, but we're really closer than ever, and we have FCC approved licenses, which is that the radio transmitters are usable and allowable, which is legally a very hard thing to achieve, with US government, word soup, and intergovernmental organizations all happy that what's going on here is all good on our end. And yeah, you guys can use the fucking moon radio spectrum. Sure, that's exclusively for you. Like other a lot of countries don't have that, so it's pretty crazy what we've done to get to this point. And it's like just a final push of like figuring out this last radio stuff with the mission, like launching it, and you know, the Earth orbit mission happening too. All right, everyone. Well, I'll wrap it up here. Thanks for joining, and yeah, have a good day. Thanks for listening in.